I don't fish. And, I can, but I mean, I just don't have much enjoyment because I don't eat them. So that's hard. All right, we're in the last chapter of the book of Proverbs. The last chapter of the book of Proverbs. The final chapter. Yeah, there's something wrong. Brother Reggie's like, you can't eat fish. You can't eat chicken.
No.
Are you serious?
No, unless I'm forced.
Oh my goodness. Now that is unusual.
What did you eat?
No. That's why he goes, but he goes fishing all the time. Anybody knows Reggie? Reggie's he's on a river. He's on Lumber River. You find him, where's he? He's on Lumber River. He's fishing. That's his pastime. That's his quiet time.
Hey, William said, go ahead, eat more beef.
You're the beef. That's right. Cattle industry. All right. So the last chapter of the book of Proverbs, and we will continue. Hopefully we can get through this tonight. We're going to try to stay in the Old Testament because there's the New Testament on Sunday nights. So it's a toss-up. It really is a toss-up where to go to next because I have looked at so many. But I think the minor prophets is what I'd like to do. It's either that or Song of Solomon and Ecclesiastes. We've done those as well. So we've done everything. This is the last chapter. At this church, it's the last chapter that we have. We've never done a verse-by-verse study. So now we will have done every book in the Bible. We've done many more than one occasion now. We've done lots and lots of books, but this kind of a milestone. Brother Andre said Sunday, it's a milestone.
Now you're talking about the minor prophets. You're talking about like
Hosea, Joel, Amos, Obadiah, Jonah, Micah, Nahum.
You're not talking about these big ones.
Not Jeremiah and Isaiah. No, not those.
Not Nehemiah.
No, not Nehemiah. I'm talking about Nehemiah. We've done Nehemiah.
Esther.
Ezra, Nehemiah, Esther.
Yeah,
we've already done those, haven't we? We've done so many. We've done everything else.
So
I was trying to do ones we haven't done in a long time.
Yeah, well, I don't remember Esther.
I thought, did we go through Esther?
We did Esther
coming through this.
Time ago.
But I mean, I said before we went to Psalms, we were in Job. Before Job, what were we in? You got it written down, don't
No, she'll never know.
You have to go way back.
Way back.
Hey, we got YouTube.
You gotta go way
They're
back.
all in there.
Not the ones you had from when y'all was in there?
They're in there. They're in there. It's a long time ago. That's about 3 years. About 3 years. I keep
It's getting longer than 3 years since we did Esther.
Because I know I've done those. I mean, we're going to do that. You might as well go back in Genesis, start in Genesis, and just go all the way through. That'd be the easy one. I've done that one, but it's probably the easiest thing. Didn't make sense. Makes sense. Okay.
We might need to do like the other churches. When they get done with the Bible, they just get a book one out of here.
Yeah.
Purpose-driven life.
Bite your tongue. All right. Let's begin the last chapter. Proverbs chapter 31 and verse 1. The words of King Lemuel, the prophecy that his mother taught him. Again, like the previous chapter, in chapter 30, Agur, we don't know anything about these people. King Lemuel, there's nothing that's written about him. Don't know nothing about him. But it's him and his mother, what his mother taught him. But it was enough that they put it in the book of Proverbs. And you can imagine some of these things about, it's ironic. You begin the book off with a father talking to his son, and it ends up with a mother talking to her son. It's kind of the irony of how the book begins. The words of King Lemuel, the prophecy that his mother taught him. What, my son? And what? The son of my womb? What? The son of my vows? She's giving an idea about who her son is, and giving about who this young man is. Son of my womb, son of my vows. But he gives this idea here, and she says this: give not thy strength unto women, nor thy ways to that which destroyeth kings. Don't be obsessed with women. Son, do not be obsessed with women, because that's what destroyed kings. Don't give yourself over to sexual desires, lusting after women. Son, you need one woman, settle down. Here's what it says. Do not give yourself over. Don't give your strength to women. Don't destroy what you have. Give it all away to a woman. And he says, for that which destroyeth kings. Now we know that was a problem with a father and son. Remember? It was a man by the name of David. David had a problem with women. He had an affair with Bathsheba. He was married to more than one woman at a time. We know that. Anybody remember his first wife? What was her name?
Michael. No, Michael.
I think it was Michael. And we remember, of course, Saul took her back, but it was Michael. And of course, the other girl.
Abigail.
Oh yeah.
Smart.
You stand up and you salute when you say Abigail. That's
She
one
was
of,
the one that had the husband.
oh my, yeah.
That died, and then David.
No, evil man.
I know he was evil.
Yeah, he died,
yeah.
right. But Abigail was the one that stopped him from doing something crazy, and he stopped and acknowledged her that she was that great. And if you want to know, how does a woman talk to a man? That's how you talk to a man.
Abigail.
And Abigail was wonderful. But anyway, I digress. Point is, David had a problem with women. It destroyed him, right? It caused him, he gave his strength to a woman, and it even caused him to disobey the law and to commit a murder because of it. Now, if that's not bad enough, what did his son do?
Slept with his wife. Concubine.
Absalom did, in the sight. What about his other son? He's got another son.
He slept with his sister, raped his sister.
Mm-hmm. What about his other son?
Killed the brother.
Yeah, Absalom killed his brother, but I'm talking about sexuality with women. There was a man, one of his brothers had a real bad problem with women.
Solomon.
Oh! Yeah.
I already said
Yeah.
Well,
Big time. Yeah, he's the obvious one, right? The other guys did, but wow. 700 wives, 300 concubines. How many days are there in a year? Have you married to so and so? I ain't seen her in a couple of years. I don't know. How would you even know that you have that? That's 1,000 women. How would you be? Yeah, yes, that's right. That was good. I enjoyed that one. An odious woman. That was pretty good. But again, the point is, but what did it do to Solomon? Remember what it did? What did God tell him? He said, you don't multiply wives to yourselves about a king. Now, before there was a theocracy, and then there was a monarchy, right? Theocracy first, and then there was a monarchy. You have God ruling over man till 1 Samuel chapter 8, right? That's when they wanted a king. Keep your finger there in your Bible, if you would. Turn to 1 Samuel chapter 8, because up until this time, God ruled over them all. But in 1 Samuel chapter 8, you find the transition. And it came to pass when Samuel was old that he made his sons judges over Israel. Now the name of the first one was Joel, and the name of the second Abiah. These were the judges over Beersheba. And his sons walked not in his ways, but turned aside after lucre, and took bribes and perverted judgment. Then all the elders of Israel gathered themselves together and came to Samuel at Ramah, and said unto him, Behold, thou art old, and thy sons walk not in thy ways. Now make us a king to judge us like all the nations. That's 1 Samuel chapter 8 and verse 5. What happens? Now you got kings. But until then, so now we're going to get our first king, right? Well, guess what? This was already prophesied that they have a king, right? Mm-hmm. Where was it in the Bible? Thank you, Sister Sheila. Somebody help her out. Where's it at now?
Where?
That's right. Deuteronomy. Thank you, brother. 17, 14. All right. Deuteronomy 17. Go to Deuteronomy 17, which is before this. While they're still under theocracy, in Deuteronomy chapter 17.
Deuteronomy verses 14 through 20.
Right?
In chapter 17?
Look what it says in verse number 14. Deuteronomy chapter 17, verse 14. When thou art come into the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee, and not even in the promised land, way before this issue, he says, and shalt possess it, and shalt dwell therein, and shalt say, I will set a king over me, like as all the nations that are about. He already prophesied what we read, didn't he? Yeah. But what does God say? He gives instructions about a king, even though he ain't supposed to have a king, but he knows what they're going to do, so he goes and tells them this. Mm-hmm. First, thou shalt in any wise set him king over thee, whom the Lord thy God shall choose. One from among thy brethren shalt thou set king over thee. Thou mayest not set a stranger of thee, which is not thy brother. But he shall not multiply horses to himself, nor cause the people to return to Egypt. to the end that he should multiply horses, for as much as the Lord had said unto you, ye shall henceforth return no more that way. Here it is, verse 17. Neither shall he multiply wives to himself. Solomon, what does the Bible say in 1 Kings, is it 11? Solomon loved many wives. 1 Kings is around chapter 11. Go to 1 Kings chapter 11, verse 1. I'll give you time to get there. 1 Kings chapter 11, verse 1.
My book says Solomon's folly.
But King Solomon loved many strange women.
Where's it at?
1 Kings 11.
11:1.
Together with the daughter of the Pharaoh, women of the Moabites and Ammonites, Edomites, Zidonians, and Hittites, of the nations concerning which the Lord said unto the children of Israel, you shall not go into them, neither shall they come into you. For surely they will turn away your heart after their gods. Solomon clave unto these in what? Love. So what does King Lemuel's mother say? Don't give your strength to these women. It destroys kings. Verse 3, give not thy strength to women, nor thy ways to that which destroyeth kings. It is not for kings. Let me stop there before I get to the other part. He's pointing out, hey, women, they will destroy you. Don't give your strength away to them. Don't be obsessed with it, because we've seen it already happen. You get the one woman settled down for life. That's what Ernest T. Bass always wanted, didn't he? One woman settled down. What he said, like the gopher used to get with one. One forever. So, and now, second thing, it is not for kings, verse 4. It is not for kings, O Lemuel. It is not for kings to drink wine, nor princes strong drink. Why? He said, people can drink, but not kings and not princes. It shouldn't be that way, lest they drink and forget the law and pervert the judgment of any of the afflicted. What happens when you drink? You make poor decisions. And when you're king, when you're ruling over people, when you have responsibility, you can't afford to be like that. In my profession, people drink, but you can't drink when you're on call. If you know you were going to start call that night, you can't drink because you know you're going to be required to go to the hospital. You get called to go do something, you can't, or if you get called on the phone to make a good decision, you can't drink anytime because you may not make the right decision. We all know that. And I know places that's happened. Hospitals have to go through that because you got a responsibility. Electrician. You want somebody that's known for being drunk, working with electricity, wiring something up for you? Brother Andre, you got a $500,000 piece of equipment? You want them to run it for you? No, you don't want that, because you know that but a king will pervert judgment. And he's going to also, as it says, the afflicted, it'll harm poor people. You make decisions that are just not wise. Give strong drink unto him that is ready to perish, and to wine to those who be of a heavy heart. Talking about being merry. The Bible doesn't speak of drinking as it's evil to drink. So, Brother Glenn, why don't we drink? Because it's not going to be a good testimony where we live. We come up in a different culture. And I promise you, it'll destroy your testimony. Besides, I know many men, when he got saved, knows good and well, you can't go out there and do that social drinking. You ain't going to take a swallow, because I promise you, it's going to stir up things. You go right back to the same old ways. That's the problem. So he tells them, but a prince or a king doesn't drink. And he says, but you should give alcohol to a man that's on death row, right? He's dying, right? Somebody's dying, you give them pain medicine, you give them strong drink. Is that true?
Yep.
Why? Is that in the Bible other than here? Thank you, brother. When Jesus was on the cross, they gave him the stupefying drink that they would help to ease the pain. He refused that one, remember? Yeah, they did those things. You give it to somebody who's dying, who's perishing, as they do that now. Remember, we used to go to the hospice. I remember when my loved one was dying, they had this morphine gel. You put it under the tongue if they couldn't, then you put it on a patch on the arm to try to seep it through the skin. Because, by the way, anybody ever been dehydrated? Ever seen an athlete dehydrate on the court playing basketball?
Yes, they get cramps.
Bad cramps, hurting cramps, unbelievable cramps. Correct. What happens when a person doesn't drink something for 2 or 3 days? That's what happens. That's exactly what happens. There's a lot of pain with it. And that's what in the book says it. Hey, give it to them that is ready to perish. And wine to him of a heavy heart, which is kind of hard for people to grasp. But he says, eat, drink, and be merry, for tomorrow we die. Scriptures talk about this. But he says, give strong drink, heavy hearts. Let him drink and forget his poverty and remember his misery no more. Now, that's kind of an odd thing that you'd have. You wouldn't think of those things today. Drink away your poverty. Well, I don't have to think about it. The point is that the idea is that someone doesn't have any happiness in their life. All they got is misery. So if I can't have happiness, I can forget the misery for a while. But you're going to wake up to it, right? Mm-hmm. But the point is that she's making to her son is that he's putting down is when you're in charge, King Lemuel. The words of King Lemuel. King, you don't drink. Give it to somebody else. But don't you drink yourself. Don't do it. How many of you were ever raised around anybody? You know anybody that drank in your family? All of you know, right? Mm-hmm. It causes all kinds of trouble. Mm. It always does. Yeah. I remember my father-in-law. When he quit, it changed. When my dad quit, it changed. I mean, it changes lives. When men quit drinking, they quit, and all of a sudden things change. It's much better. But I'm reminded that my wife and I had one of our friends from high school we graduated with. They came over, him and his brother, the week before he died, and they've been out. They'd come out to see us. I went out and talked to them for a while, and next week they were at a party and got angry and he shot his brother and killed him. Alcohol, that's just things happen like that, and you don't want to give alcohol to somebody who's got a temper. By the way, you don't want that to happen. Not long ago, it's about 5 years before COVID, we had a get together at somebody's house. Not house, it was a local gathering place that they took and converted it, and you could have get-togethers out there. So we had our mother's and father's anniversary out. It was really nice. This guy would rent it out for people, People have their parties and stuff. They have parties out there. And, of course, it was really good. So we had a birthday party for somebody out there. Really nice. Until they rented it some people from around here, some of our people. And the guy had a liquor license. So people could have alcohol there. And all of a sudden, some people get liquored up, and what do? They're dancing, but they pull out their guns, and they're just dancing around with their guns in the air. And that's not good. So anyway, nothing happened, nothing bad happened, but the police got involved. They pulled his license, and that was the end of that. So, but again, you got to be careful with people that are drinking. They do some crazy things. Just remember, it's not good to drink. It isn't. But for some preachers to say that it was an alcoholic, it's not in there. You can't find that in the Bible. It was alcoholic. It wasn't very strong, the wine they had. You don't drink a good bit, but it was still alcoholic. You would not pour wine into a wound, as the Good Samaritan did, if it wasn't alcoholic.
Most say that part.
Huh?
Most preachers won't even admit that.
Yeah.
They stay away from that.
Yeah, because then
but you gotta.
He said the strong wine. They told him,
Yeah.
You usually bring strong wine out first because they had strong wine and light.
But it's in the book.
Tell them what the book says.
Yeah.
Yeah. All I tell them is this: I got people that'll say that. I'm like, because then I get the argument and say, well, it says, well, they drink, so what's wrong with that there? It's in the Bible. And I was like, wait, have you not took the book of Romans and Corinthians where it says, you got to consider people that watch you. Simple people are offended. Exactly. We read that on Sunday about, him that is strong in the faith, or to bear the infirmities of the weak. I mean, you got young brothers and sisters that destroy them. Why would you do such a thing? Well, that's my freedom. I can do whatever. You're not by yourself. You're supposed to be looking out for the other person. Philippians 2:4, look not every man on his own things, but every man also on the things of others. We're supposed to be watching after our brothers and sisters. You would destroy them. So don't do it. And besides, how many sinners are going to watch you and say, he's saved? I mean, they see you coming from the ABC store No. You think they're going to listen to your testimony? No, they're not. So why would you even take that opportunity, that chance? Now, if you were living in Germany where everybody drinks beer, where it's commonplace, it may be different.
It would be.
Yeah, but you take the book as it says it. And I got too many places to tell you, please don't drink. We've got plenty of other things you can drink besides wine. A lot of things you can drink. Water is real good too, brothers and sisters. Water will keep you hydrated. But I got people in my life that'll tell me, I can't drink water no more. They can't. They literally can't.
Why?
Because they don't like it.
They
They don't like it. They don't like it. Yeah.
Doctor paid the water.
Doc,
Paid the water.
I even made, tell them what I bought you. Tell them what I bought you. Her own personal, small cubes, little tiny cubes, perfect ice.
Drink more water.
so when she wants to get ice, yeah. Yes, it is every night.
Brown water.
Yeah, brown water.
All natural.
All right. Let's go ahead and get number 8. Open thy mouth for the dumb in the cause of all such as are appointed to destruction. Open thy mouth, judge righteously, and plead the cause of the poor and needy. Read that from the NIV. Somebody got the NIV. Verse 8.
Speak up for those who cannot speak for themselves. For the rights of all who are destitute, speak up and judge fairly. Defend the rights of the poor and needy. Yeah.
Use your authority. Use your power to do. Sometimes, people want to get something done. They can't get it done. Nobody listens to them. Have you ever been where you could speak up and nobody else does, but you have the opportunity to try to help? Speak up, open your mouth, judge righteously, and plead the cause of the poor and needy. Verse 8, open thy mouth for the dumb, those who can't speak, in the cause of all such that are appointed to destruction. Speak for them. Open up your mouth. You got the ability. It took me a while to realize this here, and I didn't figure it out. We were doing something the other day, and they asked me, why do you suffer like this? You go through the protocols, it doesn't happen, then you do something. I said, because when I say something, it's different. When I see something happen that you can't get it done, but because of my authority, I can say, and people do things, they listen because they know that I'm with the CEO and we can talk and, hey, it better get done. But you don't want to do that if you don't have to. But sometimes you got the ability to speak when nobody else can. They're not going to listen to anybody else, but they'll listen to you, and you could have said something, but you're quiet. You won't say anything. As you spoke before, you've got the authority to speak on it. Anybody else says it won't make any difference. But if the preacher says it, is he right or wrong? Then you got to judge it and you got to take it. What does the book say? I've never had a problem with saying, let's go to the book and see what it says. Now, if we're wrong, we just say we're wrong. Everybody messes up. That's fine. But the book is always right, and you have to go by that. But how are people going to know if you don't tell them? You just have to go to it. All right. And plead the cause of the poor and needy. Please plead those people, poor and needy, as we talked about earlier, people that are poor, living in places and they don't even tell anybody. People that need help. That's something I think everybody should have that opportunity. It has the opportunity sometime in your life to help somebody who really just needs the help. If you've never seen that, keep your eyes open. Don't be ashamed to speak up and say, hey, I'll take it. I'll do it. So you didn't have to. No, but it needs to be done. All right, now let's go to the one that exonerates the women. Finally, we get to something that's good about the women, right? It's King Lemuel's wife, his mother gave him some good advice. Who can find a virtuous woman?
What's virtuous? Let me look that up.
Having virtue. Look at to have a virtue.
So it don't mean a hard-working woman?
No.
Okay.
A person that has virtue. virtue. What is virtue?
Trusting.
Right.
honest,
A right woman. A good person.
Good morality, noble.
Mm-hmm. A person you can depend on.
She considered herself very virtuous because she neither drank nor smoked.
Right. Who can find a virtuous woman? You can't find a virtuous woman. How would you find it? Because it says her price is far above rubies. It's hard to find this kind of a woman. The point she's making is, son, they're not just a dime a dozen. You just can't find these every day. I made the statement the other day. I said, wait a minute. What if, I know you're going to college, but wouldn't you open your eyes? What if they meet the right person? Well, I want my child to get their education first. He'd have to depend on someone. So they have to, he'll hold him back. But what about the right woman? If you can find a virtuous woman, the price is far above rubies. A woman like he describes here, you can't put a price on her. Why would you let her go? By the way, Christian people say those, I'm going to say it, stupid things.
Amen.
About telling them that getting an education is more important than getting a good wife. If you listen to the Bible tells you, a man needs a woman in his life. He needs a good woman. And finding a virtuous woman, it's hard to find. And if you find a woman like that, who can find her? Why? The heart of her husband does safely trust in her. He can trust this kind of a woman. His heart trusts in her. I know that she's going to have my back. I know she's going to take, so that he shall have no need of what? Spoil. That means I don't have to go out and conquer. I ain't got to go get stuff for somebody else. My woman supplies everything that I need. I know if I ain't got it, they'll get it. I remember men, we come home and you see the women over there. You never know. A woman would work when I was growing up, they always worked. When they got home and finished supper, they didn't quit work. The men would sit around and we'd talk. You want a woman sitting over there doing? Sewing up putting darning socks. She's putting something on the pants, sewing up something here, repairing clothing. That's when she do it at nighttime. They were always working. And her husband knows that she's going to take care of him. I just always remember the lady I went to school with in college at Pembroke, who would give her husband a bath when he'd be tired and clothe him and put him in the bed and get him up and cook for him. And because he worked so hard logging, his body was broken. He died early. And she went back to college. And I remember just how she took care of him. She said, I knew I had the best man in the world. I said, I did everything I could to take care of my man. He was tired. I made sure he was clean, make sure he had everything he needed. But again, it says, what it say? Rare. Who can find her? Far above rubies. Yes, there is. Oh yeah. The book says they're there. The book says it's there. Hey, the book says it's there. She will do him good and not evil all the days of her life. She'll do him good and not evil all the days of her life. I met that woman the other day. There's no lie. Good to her. I see them kind of women. My goodness. I see men that just, when they get sick, I need so-and-so. You need these, and these women take care of these men, despite the fact they're so selfish. I said, God, please don't let me be like that. I mean, a man that won't work, won't take care of you, don't want to do anything. It's like, yeah. You got a roof over your head.
We need to go follow this book with Titus 2.
All right. Titus, that's right. Titus 2, that's right. We'll remind you of that, right? Was it 1 Peter 3? Even as Sarah obeyed Abraham, called him Lord. She seeketh wool and flax and worketh willingly with her hands. She is like the merchant's ships. She brings her food from afar. She's providing for a family. You don't have to worry about it. She knows her responsibility. I don't have to get up and say, you going to clean up today? Have you going to wash clothes? Have you washed clothes yet? I ain't got nothing to wear.
Are you going to cook some food today?
Are you going to cook today?
You gonna comb your hair?
Yeah, it's like.
You got a man there now.
No, not talking for her, but for the man. I mean, a woman that gets up and cleans her house, you have to tell her to do it. It's always spick and span. When you come home, you know your food's going to be on the table. It's going to be waiting on you. If you get there in time, if you don't, it's already there for you, right? Mm-hmm. She brings her food from far. She riseth also while it is yet night, and giveth meat to her household and a portion to her maidens. She takes care of everybody that's in the household, even servants, even maidens. She rises early, makes sure everything is done. Y'all have those kind of women? I know those kind of women. That one there I know particularly, because if we go on vacation, I know what's going to happen. We're going to have to get up 2 hours early, get dressed, get out of the way, go outside. I have my house clean before we leave. It drives you crazy sometimes, but at least you come home, it's going to be cleaned up. And by the way, a lot of this is cultural. The Indian women were raised like this. They were washing dishes at 6 years old, standing in a chair. I mean, they were taught early. I know y'all's mama hit y'all pretty hard. I know y'all
I used
did.
to ask her, why could we have a dishwasher? She said, I got 4 of them.
I know. Again, you were raised like that. She considereth the field and buyeth it. Again, she goes out, she purchases. Considering land and property, it's not the husband, but she does it. She has that ability. She's smart enough to do that. She's a financial person. Handles the household. She can take care of it. But that's what she considers. And with the fruit of her hands, she planted the vineyard. She takes care of everything that needs to be done. All she does is work. Now, this is a virtuous woman. Again, it's a person who has a role. Anybody play football in their life? Everybody, men play football. 1, 2, 3, 4. Do you remember when the kickoff? You used to have kickoffs in the old days. When you kick the ball off, you run down. What do they teach you? You got to stay in your lane. Don't get out of your lane. The ball man is way over yonder. You're going to want to turn and run that way, but stay in your lane because he makes a turn. You're going to come and you're going to miss him. You're not fast enough. Yep. Keep where you're at. Stay in what you're supposed to be doing. But a woman that knows this, who knows what's my responsibility, don't have to tell. She's going to stay in her lane. She knows what she's doing. I'm responsible for the finances of this place. I'm responsible for my house to go. In fact, the older women were to teach the younger women, as Sister Sister Belinda was pointing to, Titus chapter 2, keepers at home. They know how to keep the home. It's clear that she's planting a vineyard. She girded the loins with strength and strengthened her arms. She just works. Have you ever got to that point? You ever seen women like that? They're 8 months pregnant, got 4 more weeks to go. Have to stop every now and then so they can throw up. Keep going. That's just life. They just put up that for so many children. They just put up with it, keep going. They work tirelessly. How many of you women remember trying to wash clothes when you're 9 months pregnant? Trying to manage.
Clean the bathtub.
Yeah, trying to clean and still doing it. Some of you ladies, it's just hard to. You can't bend over and do almost anything. You can't wash clothes. It's the old joke about why women have shorter feet than men so they can stand closer to the sink. That's an old joke. But if you're pregnant, you can't do much of anything. If any man has been married knows what his wife goes through. You've seen it. It's just unbelievable. But they still do it. Strengthen her arms. Lord, she perceiveth that her merchandise is good. Her candle goeth not out by night. They work into the night. I remember them churning butter at night. Remember your mama churning butter? Well, I was raised by old people. Both of them born in 1911. She churned butter at night and just stay up working, churning butter. They always were doing something. She layeth her hands to the spindle and her hands hold the distaff. I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself too quickly. It says, her hands hold to the spindle. She extends her hand to the poor. Yea, she reaches forth her hands to the needy, always ready to give. She is not afraid of the snow for her household. For all her household are clothed with scarlet. She provides and makes sure when the time comes. How many of you ladies remember the time when Christmas presents? When did you lay it away? Remember lay it away? They lay it away. June.
Yeah.
June, July, you start laying away clothes. Got to pay on them for a while. Got them on layaway. Remember layaway? And they'd work until then and start paying a little.
Money.
Huh?
After the tobacco money.
After the tobacco money.
Tobacco money coming in.
After school
Yeah.
clothes, right?
But again, the woman is preparing for the winter. Her children are clothed in scarlet. She prepares, makes sure they got plenty. Where is it at? Where's so-and-so? It's in so, and they know exactly where they got it packed up. They got it washed up, cleaned up, puts it away for you. And when it's time, men, what do? Oh, that's where it's at. Oh, okay. I forgot I had them shoes. I forgot I had that. How many times a woman does that for you? Always puts things away, preparation. She's not afraid. She maketh herself coverings of tapestries. Her clothing is silk and purple. Now, of course, this has to do, when it speaks about her, that she deserves these things. She deserves the things that just for this alone. We don't reward our women for this. I was always careful to ask my ladies when I spoke to them, ma'am, do you work outside the home? Because women work at home. That's a full-time job. Nobody wants to do that anymore. I don't know if any woman wants to be a homemaker. And it's sad. And it's sad we live in a culture where we've relegated women to being foolish enough to work 2 jobs. Do you know how hard it is to work a job and come home? I watch women do it every day. I don't know how they do it. They're worn out and they're half-handing it because you can't do it all. And they'll tell you that. Saturday comes, your whole Saturday's split up trying to catch up and work on Saturdays, and y'all have done it. I know some of you guys have done it, but it's 2 jobs. It really is. And we've forgotten that. And I don't know if it's culture, if it's lifestyle or what it is. Brothers and sisters, it's sad that this type of a woman is forgotten. We don't think of it. We want to make sure. I should have what everybody else has got. It shouldn't be like that. Her price is far above rubies. Did you notice what it says about her husband? The heart of her husband that safely trusts in her. She'll do him good all the days of her life. As long as she lives, she's going to do him good. What kind of woman is that? She's clothed like her husband is known in the gates when he sitteth among the elders of the land. Yeah, why? He got a good woman, man. I tell you, that's awesome. You want to read about a good woman? Read John and Charles Wesley's mother, who was to be a senator. I forget the storyline, but she gave up. She was very powerful, very wealthy, but gave it all up to raise the 2 boys and raise 2 giants. Notoriety, we forget, and I don't mean this to say anything derogatory. But women like this are not considered much in our society. They are looked down upon. You don't work. Wish I had it made like you. That's exactly what's said. How do I know it? Because I hear it. I hear it from women. I've been in a small room with people all of my life, and it's sad that they're put down like that.
They just say, I'm just a home.
Because I tell you don't do nothing. And I take it personal because that's what my wife is. When I was 18 years old, God laid that on my heart. No, you're not going to work. And I'll work through 3 jobs. I'm going to work, but no, you're at home. And I made that, and God allowed me to do that. But I knew that early on, not because anything other than God told me. I was too ignorant. I didn't know it all myself. But I said, this is the right thing. But it's bad when they're put down like that, and I would watch that. And through the years, people would put her down because you don't do so-and-so. Well, we don't have the money to do those things. But it's sad. A woman like this here, no, man. Strength, honor, silk, purple. Husband's known why. You got a good woman. I wish we could say that about a good woman. As I raised my daughter, I said, look, you can have a job, whatever you want to do, but that house is yours. You got to run it. You got to take care of it. That's your responsibility. You want a career, that's fine, but you're never going to get that joy out of a career. Not like you'll get out being a mama. A wife, I'm going to tell you. Listen, every time a woman becomes a grandma, what happens? Love being a grandma. Love them grandkids. Oh, my goodness. Talking about them grandkids. Let me show you my grand. You don't talk about your career. It's not that important. It's what life's really about. And a woman that has that strength, we're going to Nana's house. G-Ma, whatever you want to call yourself. We're going to Grandma's. And they love it. They love it. Oh, my, Mima. That's what it's not. Gigi. So many things. But again, husband's known by the wife. Yeah. Hey, he's the one who's got the good wife. Boy, I tell you, wish we had a wife like yours. She maketh fine linen and selleth it, and delivereth her girdles unto the merchants. Strength and honor are her clothing, and she shall rejoice in time to come. Yeah. This lady I met that told me this thing. She never had a single regret. She looked back and said, it was a pleasure to do that. She said, because I had a good man. And said, you want to be good to them. But there's a lot of culture there because Our women, I have always done that. Many of our women took care of them. Oh, I tell you, there's a set of women, there were 3 of them. And I knew Miss Margaret and the other one, my wife's people. But my goodness, if you ever met those women, you would never believe how powerful they were. They were giants. I was blessed to be on one of them's funeral. I said, I've never met a woman like this in my life. Humble spirit. They worked hard, took care of the family. Every one of the children were all the same. They knew what to do. It was amazing. You just meet some of those women in your life, and most of them had bad men that were no good. But I'm telling you, they just persevered. She opened their mouth with wisdom, and in her tongue is the law of kindness. Wisdom can tell you what's right. Kindness, oh my goodness. My son Matthew still talks about the times he'd go to Miss Maggie's and she'd always get him something to eat. Grandma, you know how you are. Y'all just bend over back with them youngins, don't you? Take care of them. Kindness, always trying to do what's right. You love them. I come tonight, Grandma's standing right there. Amen. But again, to remind ourselves at the end of this book, what King Lemuel's mother said, son, this is what a good woman is. This is a good lady. She looketh well to her, listen, she looketh well to the ways of her household and eateth not the bread of idleness. She's not lazy. She's not the woman that strikes at work all day long while she's watching TV and can't get nothing done. No, that's not her. That's why she's rare. She's rare. Her children arise and call her blessed. They love mama. Her husband also, and he praiseth her, thanks her for all the things she has done. Talks about how good she is. Many daughters have done virtuously, but thou excellest them all. That is a virtuous woman. Favor is deceitful and beauty is vain. What does it say? Stop looking for a beautiful woman. Stop looking for a pretty woman. Beauty is empty. It's vain. Favor, that's deceitful. But a woman that feareth the Lord, she shall be. You get a Christian woman. What's the most important thing in your life? You get a woman that's saved. You get a woman that fears the Lord. You know, you tell your son, she loves you. You tell your daughter, baby, I don't really care how much he loves you. I need to know how much he loves his God. You ever talk to him like that? So I told my daughter, I said, I'm more concerned. Does he love the Lord? That's the most important. Because if he loves the Lord, he's going to love you. If she loves God, she'll love you. She might be perfect. But the fear of the Lord, that's what it says. The most important thing, she shall be praised. Absolutely. Give her the fruit of her hands. And let her own works praise her in the gates. Yeah, her own works praise her. In the gates of the court where all the men sit, their praise is there. Yeah.
Why do the men get to the city and sit but women's work?
Well, that's where all the court cases were made. So all the high officials were there at the gate, right? The men did have to work though. But a woman does work and take care of the home. It's her responsibility. You know, it's always that. I mean, it's bad when a man can't get his clothes washed. Well, wait a minute. That's woman's. No, it's not woman's work. That's your work too. Have you noticed that? The roles have changed. Every time I look on the TV, it's the woman outside. Every commercial when they come on, they're advertising for the new Kubota. Who's driving it? Who's got the wood she's throwing out on the back? It's always the woman, right? They're trying to reverse roles. You know, it's foolish. How many bricklayers are women? I mean, how many women go out there and do this hard? Are they going to be steel workers? No. Their body won't hold up against it. And it's sad that we live in a society that tries to change roles. In other words, you stay in your lane. Man, you know what you're supposed to do. If there's a bump in the night, you got to get up and go look at it. If anything goes wrong, it's your responsibility to take the hit. It's always your responsibility, not your. Well, she messed up. It's not her that done wrong. It was you, right? It's you that done wrong. That's your wife. And it doesn't matter. You never, ever take that. And you got your own role. It doesn't tell about how much a woman loves her husband. It says she safely trusts in him. But it does say, Ephesians chapter 5, it says it like this. So men ought to love their wives as their own bodies. He that loveth his wife, loveth himself. He loved his wife so much that he gives his life for her, like Jesus did, and he gave his life for the church. What you going to do for her? Get her everything she needs, make it proper. And by the way, and it ain't bad when you buy her a new vacuum cleaner. Is that- That was one of those nice. I have the real nice ones. I mean, when they want something good, I said, you know what it get you right. She got the Dyson. She got the big one with the glides.
The Cadillac.
Hang it up on the wall.
Yeah, that is definitely the good.
Yeah. But again, I'm like, but why not? Why not make it easy on your wives? Make it right? Make it easy on her. Get her something good. If she wants to do that, and they want a new stove, are you gonna get them a new stove? Yep. Yeah, one new stove, one so and so. Okay. Why? Is she working for it? Absolutely. She does work. She takes care of everything. Why not? It should be. Yeah, about 3 years ago, I want all stainless steel. I can't do that right now. But I did it. Change over to a gas stove off all times when President Biden, the day he said we're going to get rid of them, she wanted one. So we got a gas stove. Point is, give her the fruit of her hands. Let her own works praise her in the gates. Give her the fruit of her hands. What she works for, give it to her. She deserves it. Far more. Her price is far above rubies. And who can find a woman like that? It's hard to find. But at the end of it, what does she tell her son? Son, favor is deceitful and beauty is vain. But a woman that feareth the Lord, she shall be praised. That's the kind of woman you're looking for. Men, when you find that there, drop out of college and get married. It's worth it. It's worth it. We'll stop there. We got to pick up next week. All right, we'll start the book of Genesis. We'll pick up Genesis next week. We'll start there. Yep. Everybody wants Genesis. We'll take Genesis.
We're going to go back to the beginning.
Yeah.
We're doing the first book and the last book in the Bible.
Hey, quick trivia question.
Yeah.
Who wrote the book of Genesis?
Moses.
Moses. Very good. Somebody be knowing that stuff. Well, I tell you.
First 5 books.
Have a good teacher.
Let's have a word of prayer and be dismissed. Thank you for coming out. Lord willing, we'll see you tomorrow night. And if you're here online, otherwise I'll see you on Saturday.
Can we meet with the ladies? Can we meet with the ladies?